Here's the headline usage of multi-tenant: server consolidation. Many environments have vast numbers of physical servers, vast numbers of databases. That means many machines, many operating system images, many Oracle homes to maintain, and associated costs: hardware costs, operating system licenses, support licenses, database licenses, all the admin support licenses. Also, there may well be quite a lot of wasted resources. If you think about it, every database instance you run will be having perhaps 50 background processes. Now, even very small databases, they're going to have an SGA of a few gigabytes. And when you're replicating that information across many databases and many instances, it's a lot of resources going. And we're going to be able to consolidate all those databases, those non-CDBs, into one. You will get big savings when you consolidate. Consolidation. How do you do it? Well, many people will be running multiple databases instances per machine. There's one customer we're working with, and on one of their servers, they're running about 60 database instances on the one machine. That's a lot of database instances. When you multiply up the number of background processes, that's say 50 per instance. That's 3,000 processes before anyone's even logged on. That's pretty painful for Unix to manage. Add on a few users, and you're talking many, many thousands of processes. A lot of memory as well, because all those 60 database instances, they've all got an SGA. It's a lot of memory taken up. So rather than running multiple databases on one machine, many people go for virtualization, virtual machines. And when I hear the word virtualization, I get a bit frightened. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And even if you do use many virtualized servers, well, then you're multiplying the operating system images. The Oracle administration may be easier, but you've got so many operating system images to maintain and patch. In some ways, that can be even worse. So I normally try to consolidate by going from multiple schemas within a database, or even using VPD. But once you start doing that, well, then there's the possibility of application changes being required. Think of how you handle things like public synonyms. There are all sorts of possible issues when you start consolidating applications within a database. Multi-tenant may be the perfect solution if you're going for server consolidation. It may be the perfect solution. It scales incredibly. 12.1 up to 252 pluggable containers, and 12.2 just gets ridiculous. So it's another consolidation technique, in my opinion, significantly superior to the techniques available otherwise.
What type of database would you recommend multi-tenant for? A specific type or all types?
Definitely not all types. You need to consider the pattern of activity, because when we consolidate, you have many, this leads on beautifully to this slide, you have many logical databases. As far as the users, the developers are concerned, it's many databases, but there is only one physical database. There is only one instance. One database, one instance. The fact that you might have consolidated 20 non-CDBs into one, nope, there's only one database, only one instance. There's a very common misconception about this, that with multi-tenant, each pluggable database is its own database. Well, we'll see the detail coming up later, but in a multi-tenant environment, there's one database, one instance. So if you have an application running in a database that requires the full resources of an instance, perhaps you've got an application that's really redo intensive. You're really hammering in vast amounts of DML. When you run your stats pack or AWR reports, you find that the wait events are all to do with redo generation. Would you consolidate that with many other databases into one? No way. Because with multi-tenant, there's one database, one SGA, one redo log, one log buffer. So a high throughput DML environment, not a good candidate. On the other hand, databases where they aren't really stressing Oracle at all. Now, when you look at your stats pack and AWR reports, you find that DB time is, maybe your DB time is only a couple of seconds per second. Perfect to consolidate. You need to think about the nature of the application, the nature of the database. Is it stressing the instance? Does it require the full resources of the database instance or not? And if it does, you don't want to consolidate it into a multi-tenant environment, because there's only one instance. That's why it becomes really efficient. Imagine that you have, say, 20 database instances, and they've got a 10 gigabyte SGA each. You won't have such a symmetrical environment. But imagine you've got 10 database instances, 10 gigabyte SGA each. So total SGA, 100 gigabytes. If you consolidate those 10 into one multi-tenant database, you will not need 100 gigabyte SGA. You might need 10 gigabytes. You won't need 100. Sorry, you might need 20 gigabytes SGA. You won't need 100. There will be savings. And that, I see that next question, leads us on to the difference between OLTP and decision support. Think about it. An OLTP environment, you typically need a lot of database buffer cache, not much PGA, not much large pool. When you think about DSS, probably the reverse. Not much buffer cache, plenty of large pool, plenty of PGA. And that's where you need to think about, if you consolidate multiple databases, will there be conflicts for those resource requirements? And yes, multi-tenant is virtualization within the database, describes what's going on. But there is only one instance, only one database, no duplication of metadata. There'll be some space savings. You know, the things like Oracle supplied objects, DBMS packages. Instead of having them created in every database, there's only one copy of them, which all the pluggable containers, the virtual databases, share. There's an extra advantage we'll see at the end of this lecture when we talk about patch and upgrade. That is an important potential advantage as well.